Hi, I'm Kira K. Dixon, and today Caitlin Clark is under the umbrellas. Welcome, Caitlin.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
This interview with Caitlin Clark at the Masters may not seem like much at first glance, but make no mistake, it's nightmare fuel for Caitlin Clark haters. It shows exactly why she's dominating not just on the court, but off it too.
We all know two things by now.
Caitlin Clark is miles ahead of any other WNBA player in terms of popularity. The old guard cannot stand it. They twist themselves into knots trying to downplay her impact. It's just her skin color. She's just hyped up. But here's the thing. This interview shows you exactly why Caitlin is an absolute magnet for fans and brands alike. Why she's the undisputed best crossover star the WNBA has ever had. It's a masterclass, or should I say a master's class, and more importantly, it's a skill that flies under the radar. You can block a shot or take away a passing lane, but you can't stop this. So stick around, because you're about to see why Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game. She's building something no player before her ever has. Also, I've got some icing on the cake at the end. Just wait until you hear her bold prediction that came true. Let's get into it. But first, subscribe for more Caitlin Clark updates.
There are going to be a lot of them this season.
She's the most requested guest in the history of our show. And the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, Miss Caitlin Clark.
Now we all know Caitlin Clark has absolutely dominated the offseason, and she's done it without even stepping foot on a WNBA court. Let's go. Rapid fire. Rapid fire. She's getting 41 nationally televised games this season. That's 9 more than the defending champion New York Liberty. The Indiana Fever sold out over 15,000 seats for a preseason game against Brazil's national team, and now that game is being broadcast nationally on ESPN. That's a first. 6 WNBA teams have moved their home games to NBA-sized arenas, but only when the Fever come to town. And then you look at March Madness. The first NCAA tournament since Caitlin Clark, and viewership dropped by over 10 million viewers per game in the Final Four and championship games. Even the WNBA draft ratings fell significantly compared to the year she was the headliner. Bottom line, the hype has never been bigger. The popularity contrast has never been clearer. But here's the thing, public speaking. Where she's really shined has been in her high-profile public and media appearances, because what she's doing off the court right now is just as important as what she'll do on it. She did the Annika Pro Am, where her appearance alone boosted ticket sales by 1,200%. That's not a typo, 1,200%. Then she shows up at a Chiefs game with Taylor Swift and instantly generates nationwide buzz. She's spoken at multiple high-profile events and oh, her speaking fee? It starts at $100,000 for a 30-minute appearance. And once you see how she carries herself, you'll understand why. She sat on an NFL flag football panel with Serena Williams and Eli Manning, casually rubbing shoulders with legends. She filmed a collab with Dude Perfect, which is practically guaranteed to hit tens of millions of views. The David Letterman interview? Incredibly well received. People who didn't even follow basketball walked away saying, I get it now. And now we've got this, the interview at the Masters. 16 minutes of pure gold. Remember what I said earlier? She commands a minimum of $100,000 for a 30-minute speaking appearance.
Why?
I know you've told the story a bit, but for those that don't know, how did you get into the game of golf?
So I remember I was pretty young and I loved every sport. My parents I wanted to try whatever I could. And I remember on one of my birthdays, I forget how old I was turning, but I was pretty young. I got my first set of golf clubs and they were bright pink, like the kid golf clubs. And I would always beg my dad to take me and go golfing. I just really enjoyed it. I loved being outside.
Because she's a fantastic public speaker. And honestly, it's probably her most underrated skill. The one quietly growing the WNBA off the court just as much as her game is growing it on the court. Okay, let's get into the interview so you can see for yourself. I know you've told the story a bit, but for those that don't know, how did you get into the game of golf? So I remember I was pretty young and I loved every sport. My parents were like, Itha, yeah, I wanted to try whatever I could. And I remember on one of my birthdays, I forget how old I was turning, but I was pretty young, I got my first set of golf clubs. And they were like bright pink like the kid golf clubs. And I would always be begging my dad to take me and go golfing. I just really enjoyed it. I loved being outside. Openness is one of the most underrated traits in an athlete, especially in an era dominated by highlight reels and tightly controlled PR.
I wasn't obviously very good. I still am a hack, but I think I just like love being outside. I love the competitive aspect of it. It's like a battle with yourself. Like it's an individual sport. It's so different than basketball or the other sports that I played growing up. So I think it makes you have this mental toughness about you.
She called herself a hack. That kind of honesty is rare and builds instant rapport with audiences. She does it again here.
Yeah, you got to play in a Pro-Am last fall with Nelly and Annika.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Oh gosh, I've never been so nervous in my life.
That's saying a lot.
I know, I don't get nervous for basketball, but that's maybe because like, you know, I know I'm actually okay at that. I'm decent at that.
You're pretty good, yeah.
Golf, you never know what might happen. I about killed somebody on like the 6th tee, but you know, it's really fun. It was.
What she's
Being open doesn't just make an athlete relatable, it makes them memorable. It builds emotional trust. And in a world where people are deciding whether to care about you in under 10 seconds, that trust is everything. Caitlin Clark understands this better than almost anyone. She doesn't shrink from vulnerability.
We've tried every single food. We're going down the list. So.
What's the favorite?
My favorite, I think the Georgia peach ice cream sandwich. You can't go wrong with that. It's like the peach isn't like overpowering. The sugar cookie is really good. Had a couple of them yesterday. I'm gonna need to get some extra conditioning in when I get back to Indianapolis. But I mean, you can't go wrong with anything. There's just so many things that are so good. And
tells stories, shows personality, and lets fans into her life, not just her stats. In this case, she's sharing a childhood memory, told with warmth and a laugh. That little anecdote tells you she's always loved sports, not because of the pressure or the spotlight, but because it brought her joy. And by bringing up her dad, she gives you a window into the why behind it all. That family connection, that spark. And she doesn't try to act like she's a natural at golf either.
We always hear these old stories of like Michael Jordan taking his clubs on the road playing 36, or even today, Steph Curry always travels with his golf clubs.
Yeah.
From a physical perspective, how crazy is that?
it is crazy. But also I think like understanding how much I enjoy it and how peaceful it is. It's like such a nice way to get away from basketball and what your reality is every single day, and just to do something where you can like calm your mind and be away from people and be outside. I think one of my favorite stories is when Steph Curry, I think it was the playoffs, and I think it was the finals, they had just lost and he didn't play very well. And the next day they had off and he didn't want to go to the gym, he wanted to go to the golf course and just hit balls. And then the next day he came out and had like 45 points and shot really well. And I think it just shows like how nice of a calming aspect it is for professional athletes.
She called herself a hack. That kind of honesty is rare and builds instant rapport with audiences. She does it again here. Yeah, you got to play in a Pro-Am last fall with Nelly and Anakin. What was that experience like? Oh gosh, I've never been so nervous in my life. That's saying a lot. I don't get nervous for basketball, but that's maybe because, I know I'm actually okay at that. I'm decent at that. You're pretty good.
Yeah.
Golf? You never know what might happen. I about killed somebody on, the 6th tee. But it's really fun. What she's referring to is her drive at the Annika Pro-Am that went into the crowd. An embarrassing moment, but one she's clearly able to laugh off. Humor, especially the self-deprecating variety, helps athletes trying to win hearts beyond the court. It lowers...
How would you compare the Masters tournament to... I know you've been to many sporting events. Yeah. You think about the Final Four, the NBA Finals, the Super Bowl. How does this compare to any other major sporting event in America?
I honestly would probably put it number one.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's just so different than everything else. There's really just nothing like this. And I think honestly the aspect of not having your phone is so unique. You can tell everybody is so invested and they're really just there to watch the greatness of the athletes. And even the golfers talking about it after their rounds, they feel a different level of engagement from the fans too, and how invested they are. And
walls. It takes someone from unreachable superstar to someone you'd actually want to hang out with. Interview. Again, quick, casual, and completely in character. No setup, no punchline. Just a star athlete making fun of herself for eating too many desserts. It makes you forget about the stats.
I think it's one of the most magical places I've ever been in my life, honestly. Like, I think it's that special, and everybody knows that, whether you've been here or not. But once you really step foot on this whole course, this entire area, like, it just puts into perspective how special this place really is.
And the spotlight, and just enjoy her as a person. Humor is what makes interviews memorable, what gives them replay value, and what makes fans hit share, not just like. Beyond the jokes, there were some more thoughtful and serious moments.
And I think growing up, I had an older brother who played football. My grandfather was a football coach for 40 plus years, and I remember going to my brother's football games, and I was like, why can't I play flag football? Like, I would have played it, I would have loved it.
And you would have been great at it.
I would have been okay, I don't know, maybe LA 2028, maybe I'll do 2 sports.
Where she reveals another layer, not about childhood, but about how she copes with the pressures of being an athlete. In a sport as intense and scrutinized as women's basketball, where every shot she takes becomes a talking point, that kind of clarity and emotional honesty hits hard. What makes all of this even more impactful is that she's not delivering it like a polished celebrity on a press tour. She's just talking. No vanity, no rehearsed punchlines, just honest, relaxed conversation. You walk away from these clips understanding who Caitlin is, far beyond the basketball court. She's not just a star, she's a person. She has story.
It's been really fun, and obviously it's allowed me a lot of really cool opportunities and to do a lot of really cool different things, whether it's playing the Pro-Ams, whether it's be here, whether, you know, whatever it is, whether it's people just sending me golf clubs for free to try out. I'm never mad at that. I'm never mad at that. But it's super fun. I think it shows how much the game of golf is also growing. You know, I think over COVID, it certainly helped too. Like, that's when my brothers picked it up. They didn't play when we were kids, and that's when they picked it up and really started enjoying it, and now they can't get enough of it. And it's the same with a lot of my friends and teammates. So, you know, it's just such a welcoming community, and it's really fun for me to be a part of, and, you know, and to bring more eyes to golf. And then in return, you know, hopefully a lot of golf fans start watching women's basketball too.
And the
She has coping mechanisms. She has flaws she'll happily laugh at. And that's what makes her magnetic. Now, while I'm sure Caitlin is a natural, we have to remember that she's been in the spotlight for years. With her popularity, which many are jealous of, you just know the media is always looking for a slip-up in front of the camera. You can tell with Caitlin that she's had media training. Here's an example. As they say, compliments get you far in life. She lifts up the event. She gives insight from both the athlete's perspective and the fan's perspective. She aligns her answer perfectly with the tone and message the Masters has always promoted: calm, tradition, presence, and reverence for the sport. Interview. She's not just moving through the sports world, she's linking it. She's been embraced by golf at the Annika Pro-Am and the Masters, collaborated with NFL legend Eli Manning a few times during the offseason, and was even part of a bid to bring a professional soccer franchise to Cincinnati. And every time she shows up, she brings new fans with her. That's how you grow an ecosystem. That's how you expand a league. Most people don't realize it, but Caitlin Clark is basically the WNBA's unpaid